Many people are asking the impossible question. There's one question that keeps coming up that is truly an impossible question to answer. I'm Samson Dabina. I work for PowerPong Robot Company. I do international sales and marketing, providing quality robots to people all over the world. Now, PowerPong users, I'm really thankful that they're watching our videos. But one impossible question that they keep submitting over and over is this. They say, "Dear PowerPong, we'd like a series of videos on how to return all the different serves in table tennis." Well, the reason this is impossible is because there are many different serves, many different variations of the serves, and then many different subtle variations within those variations. So if you combined all the different combinations of serves and the variations of them, we're in the millions. So today, instead of telling you exactly how to return every serve, I'm going to give you 5 foundational things. And these things, if you can change your mind on these 5, I guarantee your serve return will go up probably 100 points here in the next 20 minutes. Why? Because most people have the wrong perception. How do I know that? Because I'm listening to them. If I go to a tournament and I see somebody miss the serve, what do they say? "Oh, I can't read the spin." And on the next table next to them, somebody else misses the serve and they say, "Oh, I can't read the spin." And they attribute their missed serve return to the fact that somehow they're not reading the spin or they're not reading the degree of spin. Well, that's a misperception. And I would say probably 99% of people have this misperception. So today, I'm going to give you 5 things that if you really take it to heart, your serve return will improve at least 100 points here in the next few minutes. Number 1 is having a good serve return starts with foundational strokes. A lot of what I see out there, especially at the intermediate level, is not really a stroke. I don't know what you call that, but it's not a stroke. If it's a long serve, you need to loop it or you need to chop it. Okay? You can't block a long serve. Loop it or chop it. Those are your 2 best options on returning long serve. And if it's a short serve, you need to flip or you need to push. A lot of times I see people get stuck halfway in between strokes and they end up with no stroke at all. And then they throw up their hands and say, "I can't read the spin." Well, what you're going to find is as your foundational strokes get better and you give a real flip, a real loop, a real chop, a real push, is that the subtle variations of the opponent's serve aren't going to affect you nearly as much. Why? Because your own spin took over. Okay? So the number 1 thing is you got to have foundational strokes. Number 2 thing is you have to develop good balance, positioning, and timing. If your body is balanced, if you're finding the right position and you're waiting and timing the ball correctly, you're going to have a much more likelihood of returning it on the table. So let's say, for example, if I have a new student and I'm just serving deep side spin to them, I guarantee you they're going to miss 5 or 6 out of 10, right? I serve deep to the middle, I serve deep wide here, I serve deep there, and their balance, positioning, and timing aren't good. Now, they could attribute it to the fact of, "I'm not reading the spin," but I told them what serve it was, and I told them what spin it is, and I'm serving the same serve again and again and again, but changing location, and they're missing it. So remember what I said. Most people attribute a missed serve to, "I can't read the spin." Well, if the foundational stroke isn't good and the balance, positioning, and timing aren't good, then it's going to be difficult to return the serve. So the same footwork that you do during your footwork drills or during your warm-up or during games is equally, if not sometimes more important, for serve return. The third thing is you have to develop the skill of reading the actual racket. You see, memorizing, "Oh, if somebody serves backhand, I do this, or forehand, I do that," that's not going to help at all. What you need to learn is how to actually read the exact motion of the racket. How do you develop that? Well, one thing that I've suggested to students, and this actually works quite good, is have a friend serve to you for maybe like a half an hour. And instead of just standing over there trying to return it, come up here to the net and actually stand beside the net and just learn the skill of observing the ball hit the racket and watching the detail of it. Most players, when they start doing this, what they find is that they're not watching in as much detail. They're seeing the big picture as far as the toss, the body movement, the racket, the ball leaving the racket, but they're not watching the detail of the ball contacting the racket. So no matter how many coaching tips we give you, if you're not watching the racket, it's going to be difficult to read the spin. The fourth thing is to read the actual bounce. Why is it that most people don't read the bounce? Because before the ball's already crossed the net, they've already determined what spin it is and already determined what they're going to do. One of my favorite coaches, he actually gave me some good advice. He said, the best players in the world make the latest possible decisions. And to some extent, I kind of really agree with him on that, especially in regards to serve return. So the best players in the world, they're comfortable with letting the ball cross the net, comfortable with letting the ball come, and then deciding here what spin the ball is. Why? Because they're good at reading the bounce. But so many beginner intermediate players are so anxious that they want to try to figure out immediately what spin it is that they're not comfortable to let the ball bounce. Let the ball rise, let the ball even drop and see what spin it is and then return it. So if you want to develop the skill as far as being able to read the bounce, what I would recommend is have your friend or practice partner serve for you, maybe even an hour or 2 hours of serves, and just step back and just watch the bounce and develop the skill of seeing, okay, this is short no spin, this is short side spin, this is lateral side spin, this is deviation side spin, this is short top spin. And once you develop the skill of being able to watch, that's the first step, but also develop the skill of being able to wait. A lot of people, when they don't know what the spin is, they play too early. So ultimately on any spin, if you're not sure what it is, wait longer. This gives you more time to actually read the bounce and see what spin it is. And the fifth and final thing is you got to practice these skills. Watching YouTube videos is a great step, especially here at the Power Pong YouTube channel. We give you a lot of tips on how you need to be able to perceive yourself, perceive the game, practice, structure your training session, all that. And at the same time, you got to get to the table and you got to practice. What takes the most practice? I personally feel like it's the balance, positioning, and timing. This is going to take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. They say when Junjika won the World Championship and the Olympics, he was practicing 4 or 5 hours a day, just serve return and next ball. Just serve return and next ball. Just serve return and next ball. So am I telling you that you got to drop out of school, stop your day job, and just, practice with the robot that much? No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that if for him to win the World Championships and Olympics, that was such a valuable part for his game, you, my friend, who's been asking about all these serve return tips, you also have to be able to practice it. And what is it practicing? It's practicing balance, positioning, and timing. When your body has good balance, when you find good positioning, whether it be for short, medium, or long serves, and when you're able to get the timing good, then what you're going to find is that your serve return is effective against all serves. Regardless of what top coach in the world that you talk to, there's basically none of them that will tell you when you're returning this serve, you have to touch exactly here on the ball. And when you're returning this serve, you have to touch exactly here on the ball. And when you're returning this serve, you have to touch exactly here on the ball. There's not coaches that are going to tell you, you got to touch exactly here for this serve. What do they tell you? Well, they tell you the exact same 5 things that I told you. Starts with foundational strokes. You got to have good balance, positioning, and timing. You have to have the skill to be able to read the actual ball to see if they pulled up here, or if they pulled up here, or if they pulled up here, to see exactly where they touched on the ball and what they did. So you have to have the skill of seeing. You have to have the detail to be able to wait and actually read the bounce, stay neutral in your mind, read the bounce, see, and then make a decision. And then, like I said on my last point, the discipline, the daily discipline to stay on course long term and practice these skills again and again and again. So why am I talking to you about these things? This is a Power Pong Robot YouTube channel because I truly care about your improvement. It's not just a matter of selling you a quality robot, getting you on track to do daily training. It's also a matter of making sure that we take care of all of your needs in your game to make sure that you're making progress. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. And if you want notifications, make sure you turn on the bell. I appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.